Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at our annual Lassen's Resort Day celebration. This year recognizing the 102nd anniversary of the grand opening of Lassen's Resort Hotel. On May 7th, 1921, the Lassen family kicked off the festivities when they opened this hotel, and she now stands as our community's cultural beacon from the resort area. The only surviving hotel of more than 50 that used to grace the shorelines of Cedar Lake. I'm Julie Zazada. I'm the Executive Director here at the Cedar Lake Historical Association, and I'm joined by our whole crew down here at the far end of the porch, who you'll see in a little bit, all of our volunteers. Today's celebration is going to be brief. We just have a couple of parts. We're going to start with a really quick museum update, then we will present our Beatrice Horner Cultural Award for the year, and then we will have some closing announcements and preparing you for what you're going to see inside today. So first I want to draw your attention to the far end of the porch. That is the culmination of the porch rehabilitation project that began last year. It was funded by a Crown Point Community Foundation grant, and we have a gorgeous new welcoming set of stairs down at the far end there that in particular, for volunteers, Carl, Brad, Megan, Ed, spent a lot of time in some very questionable weather to bring that to life for us, so we would thank them for that. We also have, inside the museum, 2 new rotating exhibits, or special exhibits for you to see today. In the Hands-On History Room, the Heston Steam Museum has loaned us a phenomenally detailed O-gauge model railroad that operates not 1, not 2, but 3 trains, sometimes. Joey came out this morning and helped us get everything running again. So you'll be able to see that. And then way back far into the museum, in the rotating exhibit room, there is an exhibit that's on display from the Porter County Museum. It's called the Prehistoric Pop-Up. It's not actually quite ready. We'll have that ready to go in 2 more weeks. I won't tell you too much more about it. Just suffice it to say that Tani, the mastodon from Room 1, is very excited about what's going in the far end of the hall. We'll leave it at that. And then, of course, the most exciting thing yet to return back with us this summer is Steamer Dewey. So she will be out here once again, starting on Wednesdays, June 14th, all the way through the end of September. And Steamer is inviting some friends to the museum this year. So save the date, Wednesday, July 26th. We are going to be welcoming 3 additional steamboats on a very special day called Steam Through History Day. And there will be a full day of events capped off by a community boat parade. So we'll have more information about that coming very soon, but I just want to mention that to you and make sure that you say that date. So Luann, would you please join me here at the microphone? Luann Miller is one of our board members and a volunteer with more than 20 years of experience under her belt here at the museum. She will be announcing the recipient of this year's Beatrice Horner Cultural Award.
The history of Cedar Lake officially began in 1834 when a government land survey was made. But let's jump ahead to Thursday, July 16, 1977. Imagine the excitement and passion of 20 citizens interested in forming the Cedar Lake Historical Association. Temporary officers were appointed. Their goal was to provide the town with a museum to display artifacts and memorabilia. 2 months later, the members got approval to meet in the new town hall meeting room. However, the meeting was preempted by a plan commission meeting. So they carried their chairs to the lobby of the old Lassen Hotel. So the first official meeting was unintentionally conducted in the building that would become the Lake of the Red Cedars Museum. 49 people became charter members. September 22nd, 1977, Cedar Lake Historical Association became incorporated as a not-for-profit organization. They had 2 great accomplishments. 1980, they were awarded the museum as a listing on the Indiana Register of Historical Places. In 1981, it appeared on the National Registry of Historical Places. Charles Thornburg stated that an intangible yet beautiful and constructive achievement in our existence as an association is the dedicated and wonderful people who have been and are part of it. That now includes all who have contributed time, talents, and financial support. Our contributions of time and talent fit together like a huge jigsaw puzzle. Each has an important piece of the whole picture. Without each and every piece, the picture is not distinguishable. That brings us to recognize a special person who has dedicated a huge part of her life to the preservation of history. Ann Zimmerman, can you step up here? Correct me if I get any. In the early 1980s, and her husband, Harold, were elected to the Board of Governors of the Cedar Lake Historical Association. In 1993, Ann was appointed director of the Cedar Lake Historical Association. She coordinated volunteers, set up exhibits, and gave tours. She also had put a lot of her own collections into the museum. Ann has been responsible for organizing many events throughout the years. She organized a doll tea, 2 Mad Hatter teas, a Waikiki tea, 2 birdhouse bashes, 2 hobo dinners. Also the first friendship quilt, which was constructed, friendship quilt construction and raffle. She churned homemade butter at 3 family fests. She developed and presented a program about the ice industry to our membership meeting program, and then presented it to the community schools and organizations, including the MMOC, which is the Midwest Open Air Museums Coordinating Council, when it convened in Merrillville. She narrated a segment of Cedar Lake history in the Lakeshore PBS TV broadcast, Greetings from Cedar Lake, which also runs in our gallery. She coordinated school tours and other special tours. She recruited the help of her daughter Christine and late son Paul. Paul compiled a CD of photos as displayed in Harrio's restaurant and Cedar Lake Kitchen. And I believe there may still be some available in our gift shop. She also put in many years of service at Buckley Homestead County Park, since it opened with programs in 1983. Becky Crabb, director of Buckley Homestead during those years, said that she was grateful to rely on Ann to carry out any task that needed to be done, including exhibit interpretations, serving refreshments, and cleaning. During the off seasons, Ann ran a sewing workshops, constructing attire authentic to the historical era. I witnessed firsthand one of these assembly line process of sewing overlay aprons. I believe those were from the colonial era at that time?
No, they were early 1900s.
Okay, early 1900s. Becky referred to Ann as her right-hand person. Another of Ann's accomplishments was producing and directing a historical cemetery walk at Holy Name Church Cemetery as part of their 150th anniversary. In May of 2010, Ann read a quotation by Santayana: "We must welcome the future, remembering that it will soon be the past." We respect the past, remembering that once it was all that was humanly possible. Even though the museum received a facelift and has evolved through a rebranding, the history has not changed. As the museum at Lassen's Resort, we continue to tell the story of its roots. And you played a major role in establishing those roots and laying the groundwork for all that was to follow. Without your piece in the entire puzzle, we would not be here today. So we present you with the Beatrice Horner Cultural Award. And let it be known that on May 7th, 2023, in gratitude of Museum Director Ann Zimmerman's perseverance and enduring resolve, that the Cedar Lake Historical Association bestows this Cultural and Preservation Award to her. The association recognizes her achievements, guiding the organization, programming events, and managing the museum for over 30 years. Her volunteerism and devotion to advancing the vision of Beatrice Horner were remarkable. Dream big and be determined. And these accomplishments is probably just a small part of all that she has done.
I really don't have too much to say, except I'm surprised, and thank you.
Thank you, Luann, for that beautiful reflection. And I don't think that you guys gave Ann a loud enough round of applause, so I want to hear another round of applause for the girls today. And my friends. So as advertised, today's complimentary museum admission is sponsored by the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. Today also happens to mark the beginning of Travel and Tourism Week. What better way to celebrate? It's the 40th anniversary of National Travel and Tourism Week, and the U.S. Travel Association aims to demonstrate how integral travel is to every industry and nearly everything that we do. We certainly believe that here. So President and CEO of South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority here with us today, Dave Uran. He's returned to his hometown to make a few remarks. He had the opportunity to preview what you're about to see, and so we're going to give him a chance to just make some opening remarks.
You kind of stole a little of my thunder there, because I was going to give another round of applause at the end. Let's do it again. That's awesome. Now we're here today. Congratulations.
It's my wedding anniversary. You know, my husband was alive with 68 years.
She just shared that today would have been her 68th wedding anniversary as well.
Thank you, Ann, for that dedication. Also, let's put our hands together for Jill and your entire team. We wouldn't be here today without your continued vision to get to the time that carry through. And you did hit the nail on the head when we talk about Tourism Week, right? This does embark nationally, why people go out and do different things, right? It's very, very important that we're here today. Tourism plays a huge, major part, believe it or not, in your own book of business and how you're able to enjoy your quality of life. By a show of hands here, who actually lives here in Cedar Lake? Fantastic, okay. By a show of hands, who does not live in Cedar Lake? I can raise two hands, I grew up here and currently right now here, but most of my family still does live here. And the reason I ask that for, because some of this speech I'm going to talk about real quick, because Julie promised I had about 45 minutes, right, to be able to give this speech? Or was it 45 minutes? 5 minutes. Oh, okay. That was a misprint then. All right, I'll really trump this thing down, because Ann had it really kind of, thank you and good night, she says, so that was awesome. But this speech to you guys is very, very important, because in order for you to preserve the quality of life in your own community, you've got to look at the assets that you have in here and why you've moved here. And you're standing here right now, one of the few remaining historical assets here in Cedar Lake. And when you start to look at the economic engine of your community, the 800 acres of lakefront out here is your economic. This is your downtown, right? When you start to compare things from Whiting, Crown Point, Holbert, they have beautiful downtowns and things like that. We all would be envious to have this in our book of business. And when you start to look at what you can do with something like this and keep your historical opportunities here, because obviously things grow, things develop, things change. Those can coexist if people have the right vision and they work together for the common goal. I challenge you guys to reach out to your elected officials here at Cedar Lake and make them part of the ongoing vision of this facility here. Because what tourism brings to your backyard, let me share a quick fact with you before I turn this mic back over. We have over 190,000 households in Lake County, okay? By having tourism in your backyard, where we open our doors, so to say, to show our attractions, show our sports and leisures, and different things that really get people to come in and spend their tourism dollars. On the average, every household saves $630 that typically would come out of your back pocket to your local elected officials for goods and services or infrastructure, police and fire, public safety. That tourism makes a big part of, so that supplements those opportunities to reinvest elsewhere. Our goal through the South Shore CVA is increase that $633 to $700 to $800 to $1,000 in savings. And we need places like this, right, to be part of that book of business so people can embark here, spend their dollar here, so that way you guys don't have to pull out of your pocket, but you guys get to enjoy the value and the historical monument, what this means for your book of business and your household here. Your elected officials need to make sure that you are more tomorrow than you were today by doing the right things in your quality of life. Whether it's through sports, whether it's through your lakefront, whether it's just through infrastructure, having proper schools and proper public safeties. We are here to help assist in those endeavors by making sure those dollars stretch further and farther on your behalf. So we want you guys to really reach out and make sure they understand what this location means, the historical value that started through many, many other people, through Ann all the way to Julie here, right? And all the volunteers that come in here for the, this was the destination tourism place back in the late 1800s from Chicago. This is where the place was to come. So you already have the pedigree here. Let's capture that, make sure that we're doing our part. The South Shore will stand here with you and make sure that we're getting all the possible grants, financial, public to private support you guys can have here to make this concept room that you've developed here to a bigger and better vision so people can embark here and enjoy what you guys already have in your backyard. The days where the Coleman Corner was gone, right? The Midway Ball is gone, okay? This is one of the last standing historical monuments in Cedar Lake's history. And as a community, we need to stand together as not only from Cedar Lake, but in the region to make sure this thing stands the test of time with the new embarking and supporting the historical value. So we are here to stand with you with that, okay? Go upstairs and enjoy the concept room because it's very, very cool, all right? And it can be the next best thing that Cedar Lake has to offer here for you as residents or visitors who come through here and drop their dollars. So congratulations, and thanks you for allowing me to have a few words here on tourism.
Now Dave stole my thunder. Just wait till you hear what I'll say. All right. So before we conclude the program, I want to explain what's going to happen next. We always ask you to send the guest registry every single time you visit. Every visit counts, so please make sure you do that at some point today. The new train exhibit is down the north hallway over here. The museum gallery, of course, is open, as we had mentioned, complimentary, courtesy of South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. The gift shop is also open in case you want to take home a Cedar Lake souvenir. At the front desk, you can purchase your steamboat tickets already. You could purchase a membership, leave a donation, all that good stuff. Denise will be there to greet you. Because if you remember Vera used to always say, admission is free today, but we sure do love your donations. So we would welcome those. And then we ask that you just kind of come through orderly. We've got some different volunteers who are going to help you navigate the spaces today so that you're not standing in line the entire time. We'll get you through in an orderly fashion. So I want to conclude by sharing the Cedar Lake Historical Association mission is to present the relevance of Cedar Lake history for visitors and residents alike through unique programs and special events held here at the museum at Lassen's Resort. Our all-volunteer staff has presented experiences that make the 1920s come alive on the lake for nearly 40 years. Preservation and education are the driving factors behind that mission. We enhance the quality of life for citizens and tourists as a placemaking destination, where local history and cultural stewardship are taught, community pride is fostered, regional tourism thrives, recreational public access to the lake is preserved, and lifelong memories are created. In terms of sequencing, there are many milestones that need to happen to make what you will see upstairs today a reality. We are not able to pull the trigger just yet. As a matter of fact, our experienced consultant gave me the final push to finally get this project underway, and then all the volunteers turned and looked at me and were like questioning our sanity. But they ultimately came along for the ride and helped us create an amazing experience for you to walk through. So again, not going to be pulling any triggers just yet, but with your support, as this building begins its second century as a living history destination, we're going to present a glimpse of an extremely unique experience that is poised to provide economic impact for the town and restore Lassen's legacy more fully. Unfortunately, there's no ribbon to cut today, but we have a vision. And with diligent hard work, it can come to fruition. Today we ask you to dream with us and be determined, just like B got us going. More importantly, for your support. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back for the 102nd anniversary of Lassen's Resort Hotel, and I invite you to step inside and experience what is possible.